Welcome once again to the University of California, Irvine's Brenna Venn Center for our Big West regular season finale featuring to force the fourth and then the fifth set, and that's when it all happened. Long Beach State emerges atop in that victory, 15-9 in the fifth set. As we look at our starters for Long Beach State, in the middle you have Jackson Christ and Ben Braun. Outside hitters, you have Connor Bloom and Skylar Varga. Opposite here, you got Wojciech Gajek, the Polish opposite. Setter, you've got Jake Pisani and libero Kellen Larson. On the Anteater side, in the middle, Beck Weber and Trevor Clark getting the nod for the Anteaters. And at the outside position, Andrei Jokanovic and Andreas Brink. While opposites, William Darcy and the setters, Aiden Schultz tonight, and the libero is, of course, none other than Shane Aitken. We're ready to go as Connor Bloom steps back to serve for Long Beach State to get us off here in with a tough serve. Aitken and Weber goes coffin corner on the first cross-body shot. Point going to UC Irvine. Set was a little low by Schulten, but Weber was able to still get enough of his palm on top of the ball. Go cross-body into the corner, which brings Andrei Jokanovic back to serve. Jokanovic, a 6'6" freshman. Bloom on the pass. Pisani over to Gajek, and Gajek rips it through the block. Point going to Long Beach State. Gajek, a freshman sensation, standing at 6'6" from Katowice, Poland. Back to serve, Ben Braun, the 6'11" junior middle from Rancho Mirage. Jokanovic, broken play out of system. Darcy dug up and over. Saved by Varga. Good play on the pursuit. Free ball up and over by Braun. Schulten over to Darcy, and a net violation on Varga. Schulten flinging it over his shoulder over to Darcy. He had to quicken up his approach out of that right side. Looked like he was expecting something a little higher, but was able to take care of business. But it wouldn't have mattered anyways as Varga followed through into the net on the block. Irvine up 2-1. Which brings Beck Weber, who gets the starting nod tonight. Senior night here at UC Irvine, and Weber being acknowledged as one of the graduating seniors for the Anteaters, standing at 6'8" from Long Beach. Varga's first swing goes off speed on the faux bomb attack. Looked like he's going to have the hard swing off the block, and he ended up pulling back on the brakes and rolling it over the top. And that brings Jake Pisani back serve, local product from Huntington Beach, California. Huntington Beach High School. His dad, Craig, up in the stands right behind me, as a matter of fact. Rocking the Long Beach State gear. Pisani, jump serve, gets the ace as it tags the end line. Not quite sure if it's going to be challenged. It looks like Coach David Niffen looking like he's not going to challenge, and it was good. So Long Beach State takes the early lead, 3-2 here in set number one. On a night where a lot of volleyball is happening, or actually just concluded, particularly in the MIVA, and all day for conference implications as well as NCAA tournament berths. Brink sets it over the block, picked up by Pisani. Varga bump sets high ball, free ball by Gajek. Aitken. Brink, cross body, but dropping it down the line. Went off speed, took a little off that ball. Point going to Irvine, tying it up at threes. Brink started a little bit in the beginning of the season and then was relegated to the bench for Irvine. And it's had the last few starts in the last three matches for the Anteaters. That brings William Darcy back to serve, misses just long. Be interesting to see what happens after last night's performance. A lot of service errors early on in the 5-set frenzy in Long Beach. Total service errors last night for UC Irvine were 16 for Long Beach State, 26. Jump serve misses wide and long. Point going to Irvine. And we may have our first challenge here courtside by Long Beach State. And we are going to have a video challenge by first-year head coach Nick McCrae. The original call was the serve by Pizzanti was out. Coach Nick McCrae and the Beach challenging that the ball was in fact in. And that view right there looks like it's a tad bit long. Let's see this angle. I think they're not going to capture it on that view. Wait, let's see. That's close, but we need to see if there's the blue between the white line and the ball. It's looking very close. Maybe if we can get that sideline view again, or that other end line view. As we're looking at Brian Brokenbow, our second referee on duty, our video challenge referee. It's a very close serve. That was by Skylar Varga. You can tell he had a top right spin going on it for that tail. Going for that area one corner as we look at a replay again. You see Darcy getting out of the way, and it's a tad long is what it looks like according to this view, but it's very close. There's maybe 1 or 2 inches between the ball and the line. Let's see, we got Brian Brokenbow ready for the call. And play stands is called, so Long Beach State loses a challenge. Down to 2 challenges for the match as Irvine gets that 4th point, tying it up at 4 apiece here in set number 1. Andreas Brink going back to serve, the 6'6" freshman outside from Veloci, Denmark. The beach player picked up by Bloom. Pizzanti, right side to Gajek. Dug by Darcy, roll shot by Jokanovic. Pizzanti on the dig, bumps it by Varga, blind inside set. Bloom off speed, gets it off of Brink, and Connor Bloom had a fantastic night last night. Double-digit kills for the Beach with 15 and hitting .333. 10 digs, so he's got the double-double. Gonna have to check in with their sports information person and see if that's a career high or not. They're confirming. Tough serve by Chris, picked up by Brink, set by Darcy. Balls jumped out of the net, and pressing over too early was Wojciech Gajek, so we have a beyond the net violation called against the Beach, which ties the scores at 5s. And last night in set number 1, after talking to a couple of the coaches, they agreed it was a little sloppy start for the first couple sets. A lot of errors and just some really junky play. As you look at Ben Braun go ballistic in the middle. Point going to Long Beach State. They go up 1 at 6-5. Braun, the 6'11" junior middle blocker, or senior middle blocker from Rancho Mirage. With a thumb down blast off his counterpart, Trevor Clark, sitting right there in that area 5-4 line. Gajek serving. Pass by Brink. Out of system play, shot by Aitken. Ball's blocked up top, and Pizzanti and Braun clamp down on Jokanovic. Beach takes a 7-5 lead here in set number 1. That high ball set with that big block of Braun gave Braun plenty of time to camp on that outside pin. All Pizzanti had to do is set that block. Wojciech Gajek, the freshman, jump serve into the net. 6-7 here in set number 1. Just mentioning there was a lot of volleyball here. And yes, it was a high for Connor Bloom last night with his 15 kills. As we just confirmed, Schulten down the line to Bloom. Pizzanti back to Bloom on the give and go, and he goes off the top of the block. Got a touch called by the lines official, Rachel Jensen. The correct call, you could hear that off the fingertips if you're sitting courtside, but the far lines official didn't catch that touch, but there's a lot of rotation off of that outside hand of the block of Irvine, which brings Bloom back to the service line. Bloom, a local product here for Long Beach State, gets an ace. Point going to Long Beach State. Make that a 3-point run for the Beach. As you see right on that sideline, best serve is between sidelines and on the seams. So Bloom, that's ace number 6 on the season, first of the night for the senior outside. From Huntington Beach, Jokanovic off speed, dug by Gajek. Varga on his first swing, dug by Aitken, saved by Brink. Free ball by Weber. Let's see what the offering has for the Beach. Pizzanti looks, goes to the big to Bloom, and Bloom goes off the key, and CSUN inhabiting those places, but everything else in between still needing to be ironed out here. Connor Bloom back to serve for the Beach. Off speed to Jokanovic. Darcy denied by Braun and Pisani. That's back-to-back stuffs for the same tandem. Repeat performance. 11-6. Can see them line up once again. Pisani setting that outside block and taking away the angle of Darcy. Braun just drops his hands into the angle. Jokanovic. Schulten to Darcy again. Dug by Larson, out of play, goes out of the antenna, and that stops the run by the Beach. And with that, that brings Andre Jokanovic back to serve for UC Irvine. The 7-time Big West Freshman of the Week serves into the net. Point going to Long Beach State. Jokanovic, the 6'6" freshman from Conference. So you're looking at Ben Braun back to serve for the Beach. Braun goes hybrid over to Jokanovic. Overpass. Chris on the one-timer. That's a charity set and freebie for the Beach. They go up 13-7. Irvine having some passing problems in serve receive right now. Long Beach State, top serving team in the Big West, definitely one of the top in the nation. Almost an ace. Schulten goes back to Darcy. Darcy denied, dug by Weber on the cover. Darcy swings high, dug by Gajek. Ball's coming. Braun on the save. Free ball by Bloom. Picked up by Darcy. Schulten in the middle. Weber recycles it off the block. Backset by Schulten. Darcy dug by Bloom. Pisani high ball left side to Varga. Varga off the block in the antenna. Point going to the Beach as they grit and grind it for that winner. 14 serving to 7. And Skylar Varga, this senior from Munster, Saskatchewan, Canada, ending the extended rally. And they doubled up the Anteaters. See that flow serve by Braun, missed wide and long. Point going to Irvine. So take a look at Beck Weber walking back to serve for the Anteaters. Beck Weber back to serve. Weber on the night for UC Irvine. 2 swings, has got a kill to his name, hitting .500. Weber from Long Beach, California, floats over to Bloom. Bad pass. Larson handsets, trap set, and taken out the trash is Will Darcy. And Varga, in pursuit of that ball, followed through into the net. So point going to UC Irvine. It's a no-win situation for Varga. Trap set with a 6'11" opposite hitter in William Darcy. Finds his home from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Weber serving again for UC Irvine. Weber floats deep over to Larson. Perfect pass to Pisani in the middle of Christ. And Christ going for that twisted wrister on the bomb in the middle. 15 serving 9. See Christ twisting his wrist, going a thumb down, going for that sideline. They go up 6 again. Pisani back to serve. Pisani, the 6'3" freshman setter from Huntington Beach, goes towards Aitken. Broken play. Brink on the bump set. Darcy off the block. Pisani with a save. Picked up by Larson. Roll shot by Varga. Dug by Jokanovic. Alton back over to Darcy, and he fires it through the block. Point Irvine. 10 serving to 15. Irvine finally winning a extended rally. Long Beach State gritting and grinding and winning the long rallies at this point, but both sides making the extra effort to keep the ball in play, getting opportunities to score. Darcy off speed, Varga pass, Pisani to Christ, and Chris goes off the block, and Aitken made the move behind the block, but it deflected high and out of play, so he couldn't adjust appropriately as we bring in Micah Goss for Aiden Schulten and Micah Tumas in for Will Darcy. We've got a 6-2 substitution going here for UC Irvine, where they have 2 setters and 2 opposite hitters checking in to maximize their offensive threat. with the 3 hitters available as an option, or as options for their offense. Out of the front row, Varga gets an easy ace on the Cuddy winner. That's ace number 1 of the evening, 42nd on the season for the senior from Munster, Saskatchewan, Canada. Varga's playing for Canada's VNL team this last year. The future of Volleyball Canada, as you see Micah Goss ride the cable going inside the block. Point going to Irvine. 11 looking at 17. Goss will be swinging to the opposite side. Normally a middle for UC Irvine. Andreas Brink back to serve for the Eaters. Brink hybrid to Bloom, pass high to Pisani. Pisani back over to Gayak. He's blocked by Jukovic, saved by Clark. Free ball by Aitken. Picked up by Chris. Pisani outside to Bloom. Bloom off the block, dug by Jukovic. Set by Tumas. And Goss tips it into the net. Point going to Long Beach State. 18 serving 11. Irvine's miscues extending the lead of the Beach here in set number 1. For Irvine, they've got 3 attack errors so far here in this first set. Chris steps back, drills it down the line, misses long. Point going to Irvine. Trevor Clark going back to serve for UC Irvine. Clark, the 6'10 junior middle from Lake Elsinore, California. The transfer from San Diego Mesa Community College. Last night had 7 kills, 1 error, and hit 600. Gayak on the attack, goes off the block, dug by Goss. Tumas outside to Jukovic. Jukovic recycles it. Becker on the pickup. Jukovic again, and he's denied. Ben Braun on fire tonight, dropping his hands into that angle again. This time he pairs up with Wojciech Gayak, and we have a substitution for Long Beach State. That brings Daniil Hrstanovic in for Jake Pisani. No true setter on the court for Long Beach State as Gayak goes back to serve. Gayak, the 6'6 freshman opposite from Katowice, Poland. Ball's passed by Jukovic. Tumas outside of Jukovic, rolls it off the block, dug by Gayak. Varga has to set, steps in, inside set, and Bloom tools the outside block. This is the only thing he could have done, and he got it done. Smart play, and wearing his Champions Unlimited shirt, or cap, which is a new venture by the former Long Beach State coach. Substitution for Long Beach State, Island Doty checking in for Wojciech Gayak. 13 looking at 20, Micah Goss serving for UC Irvine. UC Irvine played for the International this last summer. Micah Goss actually got some reps at the opposite position in the World University Games in Germany. Goss winds up. Larson, good pass. Doty, back over to Bloom, presses it through the block, covered by Weber. Set out to Jukovic. Jukovic abuses the outside block. Point going to UC Irvine. For Jukovic, hitting in the negative until that ball right there. Let's see if it switches it up a little bit. As we look at Micah Goss back to the service line. He's 6'6", now playing opposite hitter, listed as a middle from Santa Barbara, California. Crossbody over towards Bloom, back to Bloom. Bloom hits it outside the antenna for a point, going to UC Irvine. Right position tonight so far. Winds up, overpass, Weber on the one-timer, dug by Larson, another one-timer, and this time, second time around, he's knocking it down. Point going to UCI. 16 serving to 20. And that's a non-characteristic error by Kellen Larson. He is spot on. 99. Weber, dug by Larson off the block. Back set by Doty. Herstinovich goes off the end line for the put away, 22-16. Big swing out of the right side by Herstinovich as he goes over towards area 6 on the cross-court blast. Looked like the block of Beck Weber. One jumped late but didn't get to meet that seam or close that seam with Darcy. Jokanovic, Schulten, Darcy blocked up top, and Herstinovich and Braun taking part of a lot of blocking tandems tonight. 23 serving to 16. For Braun on Long Beach State, that is block number 4. For Herstinovich, that's his first, as Andon Kiriakou checks in for Andreas Brink on the Anteater side. And last night at Long Beach, Kiriakou came in the 4th set and inserted a little extra motivation and adrenaline on the Anteater side with some fantastic digs and acrobatic putaways at the pin. Aitken tight pass, overpass, has to be passed by Braun. Another overpass picked up by Beck Weber. Jokanovic rolls off the block and it deflects over Varga. Larson made an attempt at a jump to try and keep it in play, but he just didn't have enough height. And we got another substitution for Long Beach State checking in for the first time. Dane Hillis for Connor Bloom. 17 serving to 23. Jokanovic serving for UC Irvine. Jokanovic, 2 kills, hitting 0 on the night. Hillis overpass, and on the one-hit wonder is Andon Kiriakou as he yells at Daniil Herstinovich, actually they are Canadian teammates, but they were chatting before the match, but he made sure Daniil saw that it was him that put that ball away, and there's a little extra chirping across the net with some smiles. 18 serving to 23. Jokanovic off speed, pass by Larson. Doty to Varga. Varga sets it over on 2. Pancake by Schulten. Free ball. Larson steps in, easy pass. Doty back over to Herstinovich, and Herstinovich unable, or actually puts it away off of Schulten and Darcy, and Herstinovich lets Kiriakou know right away that it was him that put it away. We have our first set point for Long Beach State, 24 serving to 18. Braun to Aitken, Bick to Jokanovic, off of Braun, and out of play. Long Beach State will still have 5 set point opportunities, 19 serving to set point number 2. Beck Weber to the service line for UC Irvine. Weber, the 6'8" senior middle blocker from Long Beach. Did his prep years at Los Alamitos High School. Goes over towards Varga. Doty back to Varga. Pushed through the block, dug by Kiriakou. Kiriakou rolls high, Doty on the hand dig. Hillis, high ball, right side, Herstinovich. Dug by Darcy, back over to Darcy, give and go. Dug by Doty, picked up by Larson. Varga, inside set, swings high, dug by Aku, inserted in the first set. Looks like he's staying in for our second set. Andreas Brink staying in as well, so let's see what Coach Niffen has in store. Pisani pushes out to the pin. Varga off the block, picked up by Aitken. Schulten in the middle of Goss, and Goss denied by Braun. He lined up perfectly on Goss and just forced his hands high and over. 1-0 for Beach. Little change to UC Irvine's lineup tonight. They are starting with Aiden Schulten at setting up. Goss blocked up top, covered by Aitken. Wiping off the block is Jokanovic. Jokanovic again, second ball, hits high, dug by Bloom. Pisani outside to Varga. Varga cross court and goes off the block. Point going to Long Beach State. 2 serving to 0. Irvine still trying to find some answers for the Long Beach State offense. Again, hitting a scorching 429 in that first set. For Varga of Long Beach State, that's kill number 3 of the night. Still in attack errors. Goss blocked again, recycled by Irvine. Jokanovic high off the block, dug by Bloom in that area 5 corner. Gajek drills it off of Aitken down the line, 3-0, and Long Beach State in a groove offensively right now. If you look at that replay, Wojciech Gajek, the freshman opposite hitter from Katowice, Poland. Gajek was the Big West Freshman of the Week 2 times, March 3rd and March 29th. And Irvine having some complications here, now down 4-0. And that on each of the nights against CSUN. We're back into play as you take a look at Ben Braun serving for Long Beach State. Jokanovic on the offering. Brink out of the back row, and he comes in hot on the pipe. Point going to UCI. Irvine on the board at 1-4. And looks like Goss is going back to his middle position based on the way the Irvine rotation is lined up. As he goes back to serve, it means we are looking at a front row of Schulten, Jokanovic, and Clark. Goss winds up down the line. Perfect pass by Varga. Pizzanti to Varga, goes over the block. Smooth operating on the Long Beach State side. Look effortless in their offensive execution as they go up 5-1. Jake Pizzani at the service line for Long Beach State. Pizzani, the 6'3", redshirt freshman setter, misses long. Not enough wrist snap on that one, but had enough pace. You can tell he is letting it rip and getting aggressive, going for that end line. As Aiden Schulten goes back to serve. Schulten, 8 assists and a dig on the evening. Long Beach State hitting a scorching 469 at this point. Irvine at 129. Varga to Pizzani on the quick, off the head of Clark on the attack by Christ. Again, Chris, and this time he goes cross body. If first you don't succeed, try again. And Jake Pizzani opting to feed it to Christ a second time around as Varga steps back, 6-2. Varga, great serve, picked up by Aitken, set by Schulten. Brink off the top of the block. Varga on the dig. Bloom on the swing, goes off the block and the defender. And Connor Bloom, his only option was going high because Clark and Brink shut down that line pretty effectively. And that brings Varga back to serve again. Varga, spin serve, picked up by Aitken, bumps it outside to Brink off the net, broken play. Pizzani digs up and over. Aitken on the hand pass, Schulten back over to Jokanovic. Jokanovic blocked, and it falls down and in, and Christ and Bloom get a hold of it. And Irvine struggling on offense here as Long Beach State goes up 8-2, and Irvine drops below, hitting 100 here for the match. Varga on the night so far, 4 kills, 0 errors on 10 swings, and add on an ace while you're at it. For Varga, that's ace number 2 on the night. It won't be as we go into this next week's poll. As we look at Skylar Varga serving for Long Beach State. Make that another ace for Varga. That's 2 in a row. 3 on the night for the senior outside hitter. Varga, you can see that wicked tail on the end of that ball. He hit that ball top right corner. You can see the ball curving into Aitken. Another spin serve, same ball, picked up by Jokanovic. Clark on the quickie in the middle, that stops the run by the beach. 3-10. So watch that replay. Clark getting in between the seam of Christ and Bloom. Jokanovic back to serve for UCI. Jokanovic, pass by Varga. Pizzani to Bloom off the head of Clark, and Aitken made the all-out effort to get to the ball, but just was far too short of it. 11-3 off that power blast by Bloom. Chris going back to serve. 4 kills, 0 errors, hitting .800 on the night with 2 block assists. Ball's passed by Jokanovic. Schulten to Clark, and Clark delivers cross-body on the blast. 4 serving 11. As you look at Shane Aitken on screen. Trevor Clark coming in on that quick in the middle. Little pop set in the middle. Clark back to serve. Hybrid over towards Varga. Pisani in the middle, and Braun going off the head of Goss. 12-4 for Ben Braun. That's kill number 2. He's hitting 1,000. He's error-free for the night. As Wojciech Gajek goes back to serve for Long Beach State. Gajek stands at 6'6", has a pretty nasty jump serve. Aitken, Schulten, Goss off the block. Gajek picks it up on the scoop. Pisani out to Bloom. Bloom dug by Jokanovic. Kiriakou, first attempt, he's block covered by Aitken, and Irvine unable to recover. And Goss lands on Aitken's knee, and Aitken grimacing in pain as he tries to jog it off. As you see, he's got a sleeve on that knee, and they're trying to recover that ball off the net. Goss got him in an awkward position, kind of sat on his knee and may have bent the wrong way. But looks like he's good to go. Long Beach State up 13-4. Gajek back to serve. 2 kills, hitting 167 on the night, but he's got 4 digs and a block assist to his name to contribute to the Long Beach effort. Jokanovic, Aitken gets up, hand sets Kiriakou. Kiriakou denied on the triple threat of Bloom, Braun, and Pisani. Up by a dime is Long Beach State, 14-4 here in set number 2. Irvine having some challenges with the Long Beach State serve, one of the top serving teams in the nation. In fact, they got 4 players in the top 20 in the nation in aces per set. As we see that serve by Gajek go into the net. Andreas Brink back to serve. We got a substitution for UC Irvine. And exiting is Aiden Schulten. William Darcy checking in. No true setter on the court for UC Irvine. Imagine Andreas Brink will be stepping in the set for Irvine should the ball come over the net. Brink, deep hybrid, picked up by Varga. Bloom tips over the block, and both eaters are looking for the ball, and it dropped right behind the block where Brink was going to be ending up on defense as Micah Tumas checks in for Andreas Brink on the Anteater side. Coach David Niven shuffling the deck a little bit, seeing if he can get something going for his Eater squad. 15 serving 5. Connor Bloom serving, the 6'5" redshirt senior outside hitter, goes into the net. Point going to UCI. And Irvine trying to find some kind of rhythm here, just haven't quite dialed in here in our second set, and trying a few different combos of lineups here to see if Irvine can pose some kind of resistance. Good serve picked up by Larson. Back set to Gajek, one blocker, and goes off the block of Jokanovic. Gajek tooling it off of Jokanovic. 16 serving 6, which brings Braun to the service line. Braun to Jokanovic, Tumas, to Goss, tipped. Ball's called dead on the soft shot by Micah Goss of 6'6". Now back to middle from Santa Barbara, California. 7 looking at 16, and it's a big deficit to overcome with a team like Long Beach State. Long Beach State comes into tonight's matchup with a 21-4 record, 6-3 overall in the Big West. Correction, that's 7-2 in the Big West. Currently second place in the Big West, getting that number 2 seed for the Big West tournament. Goss going through his service routine over towards Larson. High ball out to Varga, roll shot, Tumas on the dig. Set right side, Darcy. Darcy pushes to the block, dug by Varga. Double contact. Varga got it twice, and they did catch it also. He's trying to argue it, but if we happen to see the replay, fist on the way down. He tried to poke it again on the second ball, I believe, if I saw that correctly. Right here, block. 1. Well, it looked like he had both platforms down, or both arms on the platform down. But no fight by Coach Nick McCray. But in real time, it looked like the ball came off the block. He touched it and stuck his paw out again as the arms went horizontal. 8 serving to 16. Varga, Pisani, Chris comes in early, dug by Goss. Tumas, tipped by the block by Jokanovic, picked up by the Beach. Varga tries to tootle out the block. Chris, dug by Goss, set by Jokanovic. Darcy swings high off the block, dug by Larson. Pisani, high ball left side, Varga tries to roll over the block, dug by Goss, picked up by Jokanovic. Darcy denied up top by Chris and Varga, and everything going Long Beach State's way. Irvine, in fact, Coach Nick McCray before the match, he said, just win the long rallies to a point where they're huffing and puffing. That was another one of those long rallies that he was referring to. 17 serving to 8 as Pisani goes back to serve for Long Beach State. Pisani into the net for Point Irvine. 9 looking at 17. Darcy back to serve for UCI. Darcy on the season averaging .296 going into this weekend, a hitting percentage. Got 291 kills on the season. Out of system play set by Varga. Gayak pops a cap in the corner. There was definitely no topspin on that ball, but he gets so far up anyways. He hit the deepest, furthest angle of the court. Make it 18-9. For Gayak, that's kill number 4. Now hitting .375. Varga at the service line for Long Beach State. Varga over towards Aitken. Tumas on the dump for winner. Point going to UCI. 10 serving 18. Great play by Micah Tumas, the 6'7" redshirt freshman setter from West Palm Beach, Florida. As Jokanovic goes back to serve. Great serve picked up by Larson. Perfect pass. Pisani right side. Gayak. And he blasted on the sideline. Point going to the Beach. 19 serving to 10. Long Beach State about to enter the red zone. Jackson Christ back to serve for the Beach. Christ. Cross court over towards Jokanovic, out of system play. Tumas right side or back row over towards Darcy, and he's denied by Gayak, Braun, and Bloom. 20 serving to 10. Big triple block by the law firm of Gayak, Braun, and Bloom. 20 serving to 10. Aitken, Tumas. Clark hammers it into the corner. Point going to UCI, 11 looking at 20. For Trevor Clark. That's kill number 3. 0 attack errors, hitting 1,000 on the night. Clark back to serve. Dropping floats are picked up by Varga. Pisani to Bloom. Bloom cross court dug by Clark. Darcy on the save, but Jokanovic unable to get a cup underneath it to get it over. You see that swing by Bloom going towards the head of Clark, and Darcy making that effort. as Guyek goes back to serve up 21-11. Long Beach State firing on all cylinders tonight. They're hitting 500 for the match right now. 2 total attack errors for the match. Kiriakou, make that an ace by Guyek. And Guyek's 27th ace of the season, first of the night. That's an incredible hitting percentage. 2 attack errors, hitting 500 on 48 swings tonight for Long Beach State. And it's currently about 18 and a half blocks to Irvine's none right now. We've got 22 serving at 12. Hershtinovich replacing Guyek, or correction, we had the double sub happen. Pisani and Guyek step out. Hershtinovich and Doty in for the Beach. Doty on the quick to Braun, blocked off and out of play off of Goss. Point going to Long Beach State. 23 serving at 12. And Braun, 4th kill of the night, 0 errors, still hitting 1,000. Connor Bloom at the service line for the Beach. Kiriakou, Tumas to Goss. Goss fires on the shoot set. 13, serving at 23. Goss coming in, making himself available as we have a substitution on the Long Beach State side. Dane Hillis in for Connor Bloom. And then Kiriakou serving for UC Irvine. Kiriakou, 17 aces on the season, averaging .30 aces per set, or .20 aces per set. Chest pops, Larson set by Varga. Hershtinovich goes through the uprights of Jokanovic, and that brings us to set point. Long Beach State serving to 13. Braun to do the honors for Long Beach State, making what could be quick work of the Anteaters here in our second set. Kiriakou, Tumas to Goss, picked up by Braun. Doty, right side, Hershtinovich, dug by Aitken. Tumas to 11 points and gets an ace right out of the gate from Huntington Beach and Olu High School. Bloom going deep again to Aitken, and Tumas slamming it down on the dump. Goss, 3 kills and 4 digs on an overpass, and balls knocked by Clark off of Varga, saved by Larson. Free ball by Varga. Kiriakou steps in. Tumas fakes the attack, and look out below. CI. Goss off the cable, saved by Bloom. Another save, free ball by Guyek, and we've got a double contact called. So we're going to call that an ace serve. Winds up and gets a back-to-back ace, is firing off of Varga. Ace number 2 of the night. Zach got to play with Jackson Christ out here on the court along with Kellen Larson. Another one. Larson passes the wrong way, saved by Guyek. Free ball by Vargas, stepping in is Kiriakou. Tumas to Clark, and he hammers it again. And Irvine getting a hold of one. They go up 5-1. Look at that replay, and look how high Trevor Clark gets. He's got his chest above the net. It's Tumas with that nectar feed. He's going to his hot hand. Goss again on the offering, goes down the line. Varga, tight pass, dump at the net, dug by Darcy. Set by Varga, swinging is Pasanti, and he goes off the block and out of play for the Tool. 2-5. Extremely smart and aggressive play by Jake Pisani, the freshman setter out of Huntington Beach. Ben Braun at the service line for Long Beach. Floats that one into the bottom of the net. Point UC Irvine. Waiting to see what's going on here. Is a slight pause in play. Coach David Niffen talking to Micah Tumas on the sideline as he steps back to the service line. Tumas, a redshirt freshman setter, stands at 6'7", from West Palm Beach, Florida. The lefty winds up, pass by Bloom. Pisani back over to Gajek, and Gajek sizzles it through the block. Gajek is a lethal force out of that right side. I was talking to assistant coach Matt Prosser before the match, and he reminded me that Gajek is on the VNL extended roster for Team Poland. If that's the extended roster, I cannot wait to see what's on the real roster, because Gajek is a talent. Jokanovic high off the block, Bloom on the pickup. Pisani to Varga, left side, swings at the angle and puts it away. And Varga was looking all angle that entire time, and that went off Darcy's foot right in between he and Andon Kiriakou. 4 looking at 6. Pisani back to serve for the Beach. Pisani out of Huntington Beach High School, the former Oiler. Jump spin, misses long. Point going to Irvine. Jokanovic to serve for the Eaters. Jokanovic on the night, kind of a shocker at the moment. 3 kills off 16 swings with 5 attackers. He's hitting negative 125. Just not having a Jokanovic kind of night. But Irvine going to their 3rd setter in 2 days. They started with Cameron Costi last night. Then they went to Aiden Schulten. Schulten started tonight, and now Coach David Niffen going to Micah Tumas. Varga chops it over towards Jokanovic. Clark grilling it on the line. Clark with that thumb down pound action as we watch the replay. Taking what's given to him, and you saw Kellum Larson cheating in on defense, giving him that shot. Bloom passes off net. Pisani legs it out. Bloom winds up off the triple block and a long distance tool. Point going to the Beach. Bloom hit that ball so hard it deflected into our broadcast position and out of play. Six looking at 8. Jackson Chris to serve. Chris went to nearby Sage Hill School. Got a few volleyball players in the house. Ball still got to play on the chop shot winner by Andon Kiriakou. Point going to the Anteaters. 9 serving to 6. William Darcy at the service line, and Darcy didn't have a Darcy kind of night last night. As a matter of fact, Darcy only had 9 kills, but had 7 attackers, hit 081 last night. Ball's jammed through the block by Bloom. Tumas got a good lineup taking the line, but the swing by Bloom was more biased towards the angle, so it deflected in that angle. And Aitken tried to make that move, but the ball was hit so high, he tried his best to get his paw underneath it. 7 serving to 9. Looking at the facilities crew, wiping off some sweat on the Long Beach State side. 7 serving 9. Wojciech Gajek serving for the Beach. Gajek 6 kills, hitting 364. Kiriakou passes the wrong way, saved by Aitken. Kiriakou recycles off the block. Tumas bangs it on 2. That lefty southpaw sizzle makes it 10-7. Don't let the boyish look fool you, because he's got a wicked arm swing on 2. 10 serving to 7. And then Kiriakou. Back to serve. Hybrid this time over to Bloom. Bias to the left side. Pisani tipped over the block by Braun, and Darcy has a sticky back flipper. He got underneath it, but the ball just stuck to the back of his hand. 8 serve 10. Back to serve is Connor Bloom. 6'5", redshirt senior outside. Over towards Aitken. Tumas. Jokanovic going up, and away. Point going to UC Irvine. Jokanovic getting a hold of one on that fast set to the pin. For Jokanovic, he's still hitting in the negative, however. Only his 4th kill. Hitting negative 0.59. Goss serving for the Anteaters. Pass by Larson. Good ball. Bick to Bloom. Off the cable. Dug by Kiriakou. Tumas. Jokanovic. Saved by Gayak. Picked up by Bloom. Down ball by Pisani. Kiriakou. Tumas. Darcy on the right side. Through the block. And Darcy with a little backyard barbecue. Point going to UC up. Welcome back to the University of California, Irvine, where the Anteaters lead here in set number 3, 12-8 after some big play by the UC Irvine outsides, William Darcy and Andre Jokanovic, and Trevor Clark sparking it up in the middle. Goss, tough serve, picked up by Bloom. Pisani outside, Varga off the block and out of play. Varga with a wrist on the swivel, cracked it off the block of Tumas and Clark. 9 serving 12. Braun back to serve for Long Beach State. Braun on the night for Long Beach State. 4 kills, 0 errors, hitting 1,000. Jokanovic, Tumas, Jokanovic over the block and put away. And that's as much emotion as we've seen out of Jokanovic tonight. For Jokanovic, that's his 5th kill. He's back to hitting at the 0 mark as he splits the seam between Christ and Pisani. Tumas back to serve for Irvine, 13-9. Spins it wide. Got a little too much hook on that southpaw swing as Pisani gets back to the service line. Looks like Long Beach State is sticking with their 5-1 rotation with Pisani handling the setting duties. Pisani with 25 assists. Pass by Aitken. Tumas in the middle, Clark. Clark dug by Larson, set by Bloom. Step closed by Varga, picked up by Tumas, set by Kiriakou. And on the jam is Darcy, set deep, picked up by Aitken. Outside Darcy, goes to the left, dug by Larson. Pisani high ball off the net to Varga, swings high, misses long. Point going to UC Irvine. Irvine battling in, and they haven't been winning a lot of the long rallies tonight, but I believe that's one of their first ones. 14 serving to 10. Jokanovic into the net, just not able to find his serving groove tonight. Whereas last night, the freshman outside from Cannes, France, definitely had it going on with 2 aces. He's at the service line for 20 attempts, so he's creating some havoc for the Long Beach reception line. Off the cable goes Varga, picked up by Aitken. Tumas to Clark, off the block, dug by Larson. Pisani, backside, Gayak over the block and out of play. Point going to UCI. 15 serving 11. Gritting out that play where both defenders, that's a libero Larson and Aitken. Aitken wisely letting that one go. Clark dropping float serve to Bloom. Pisani back over to Gayak. Gayak right side off the block. Dug by Kiriakou. Tumas back over to Darcy out of the right side. Jams it. Recycled. Saved by Goss. Popped over by Kiriakou. Chris, that's a step in the set. Bloom swings. Hard angle and misses wide. Point going to UCI. And Irvine up by their biggest lead at 16-11 here in set number 3. Let's see if this ball, there's some contestation. Oh, that ball looked like it was in. And looks like they passed the challenge time. And we've had some confusion here on the court. Coach Nick McCray was saying he wanted a challenge, but the 8-second timer looks like it may have lapsed because they waved him off. Clark tried to serve, but the R2 was talking to Coach Nick McCray in his protest of not being able to challenge, so he gets a team yellow card for a delay. And I believe Trevor Clark is going to get a replay and get to serve that ball again since the coaching staff was on the Long Beach State side of the court. So the R2, Brian Brokenbow, you see him there talking to Coach Nick McCray. Apparently it wasn't clearly communicated that a challenge was requested. So they waved on the serve, which is Trevor Clark. And now the R1, Chris Hahn has the team captains at the stand. That's Andrei Jokanovic and Skylar Varga to discuss the 8-second rule. So I'm waiting for the official whistle and what the signal is going to be from the R1, Chris Hahn. The score is still showing 16-11, but Clark attempted to serve, so it is a replay officially now on the court. Clark is going to get to serve again, and Long Beach State will not be able to challenge that, but I'll have to say that cross-court attack looked in. Clark off the cable. Larson gets underneath it. Pisani, Bick over to Varga, and Varga delivers down the pipe. Varga levitating out of the back row and doing some detonation work. 12 serving to 16. Chris at the service line for Long Beach State. 4 kills, 0 errors, hitting .571. Long Beach still hitting over .500. Broken play, saved by Kiriakou, rolls just short of the net. Point going to Long Beach, 13-16. Actually, I have to correct myself. Long Beach State finally below the 500 hitting mark. They are hitting .435 for the match. Chris serving again, and who has developed a pretty nasty spin serve. Jokanovic, Tumas, shoot to Goss, and he's denied by Braun. Braun stepped outside one step and shut down the 3-ball or the gap go ball. Point going to Long Beach. Timeout, Long Beach State. Let's watch that replay. That 3-ball was denied by Braun. Timeout taken by UCI. As we take a look on the screen, Skylar Varga, the senior outside from Munster, Saskatchewan, Canada. He's having a great night yet again. The AVCA Player of the Watch List semifinalist. 7 kills, 1 error, hitting .316. Got 5 assists, 3 aces, 2 digs, and 2 block assists. On screen for UC Irvine, it's William Darcy. 6 kills, 5 attack errors, hitting .048. 3 digs. It's a tale of 2 cities, so to speak. Long Beach State hitting at a .435 clip. Irvine finally hitting above 100 at 177. Big change, though. Service game is a lot tougher for UC Irvine. As we look at William Darcy's clip for the season, averaging 3.17 kills per set, second on the team. Tied for 50th in the NCAA. And having basically a 31% hit percentage. Second on the team and 37th in the NCAA. As we look at Chris at the service line. Again, Chris went to high school at Sage Hill, which is a mile and a half up the road here. He's got some Sage Hill Lightning fans in the house. Chris stands at 6'10", over towards Jokanovic. Aitken back over to Darcy, no block, shoves it off the block, covered by Jokanovic. Shoots set outside of Kiriakou, wipes high, dug by Varga. Pisani, big 2. Varga, and Varga scorches a line, and like that, Long Beach State back within 1. 15, serving to 16. Irvine looking a little disorganized, having to just use some white plays to get it done, but Long Beach State defense great on the cover again tonight. That serve goes into the net by Chris. Irvine goes up 17-15. Darcy at the service line for the Eaters. They're going to have a substitution. They're bringing Andreas Brink in for Andin Kiriakou. Brink started the match. He notched 2 kills on 5 attempts, hitting .400. Varga passes off net. Pisani right side to Gayak. Gayak tips through the block. They're calling a throw or a lift on Gayak. I didn't get a good look at the formation of his hand and the follow-through of his swing. See if he cupped it and misdirected. I guess it just stuck to the hand right in front of Chris Hahn, the R1, so he had to make that call. Darcy, 18-15. Larson, Pisani, high ball, Bloom. Bloom tips through the block, dug by Darcy. Aitken back over to Brink, dug by Pisani. Varga, right side over to Gayak. Gayak, cross court and off of Darcy and out of play. 16 looking at 18. That brings Daniil Hershnovich in for Jake Pisani and Andin Kiriakou back in for Andreas Brink. Gayak to serve for Long Beach State, and Gayak doing some really good things for Coach Nick McCray on the beach. The 6'6" freshman opposite hitter. Goes down the line to Jokanovic. Shooting out to the pin is Tumas, and it goes too far and out of play on the beach side. And like that, it's 17 serving to 18. Just too much pop on that follow through of the set. Gayak back to the service line, awaiting the whistle from our R1. Gayak has got a lot of heat. He's hitting right around 70 last night in the pyramid. As that serve misses long. 19-17 Irvine. Island Doty checking in for Wojciech Gayak now. Looks like we're going to a modified 6-2 offense for Long Beach State at this point. Hershnovich checking in for Pisani, and now Doty in for Gayak. Kiriakou at the service line for UCI. We got a little pause here courtside. That's our R2 Brian Brokenbow. Confirming the information is correct on the e-score sheet and substitutions are good. Kiriakou floats over towards Bloom. Doty, high ball, Hershnovich, dug by Aitken. Tumas outside to Jokanovic, dug by Hershnovich. Back set over to Bloom. Bloom denied, and Jokanovic yelling across the net, fired up, teaming up with Kiriakou checking in the second set, hoping to provide some life on the Anteater side. Kiriakou over towards Larson. Doty, high ball, Hershnovich. We've got a net violation on Hershnovich, and he doesn't argue it at all. He tried to push it off the block, and you'd see his hand go into the top tape. Point going to UCI, 21-17. Here's that play again. Yeah, that follow through after he tried to get it off the block. Make that an ace for Andin Kiriakou. First of the night, 18th of the season, third for the Anteaters on the night. So we have that double substitution occurring again. That brings Wojciech Gayak back in for Island Doty and Jake Pisani in for Daniil Hershnovich. 22 serving to 17. Kiriakou to serve. Kiriakou. Bloom passes off net. Pisani has to go high ball inside set. Swings high, dug by Kiriakou. Tumas gets underneath it. Darcy swings high and puts it away. And Darcy lets out a roar gladiator style, and it's 23-17 UC Irvine. Darcy delivering on that D ball out of the right side. Gets himself in the positive, hitting 087. That's his 7th kill. Outside Bloom, one-on-one, and knocks it off of Darcy. Goss went up with Braun in the middle, which left a one-on-one or mano-a-mano against Bloom at that left pin. 18 serving to 23. Bloom on the night for Long Beach State, 11 kills, hitting 400. 2 aces, 5 digs on the season. Averages .08 aces per set. Tumas flings it out to the pin. Jokanovic rolls it, dug by Larson. Pisani gets underneath it, forces it to the right side, and somehow Gaia gets it through the block of Jokanovic and Goss. Anteater's unable to recover the ball off the attack of Gaia. Almost had a kick save by Tumas. As you see right there, Tumas puts his leg out, kicks it into Chris Hahn, the R1. We've seen that here in the Bren before, in our Hawaii series, when Trent Rosenthal kicked it into Tom Ulibarri, who happens to be on the lines tonight. Bloom down the line, passed by Jokanovic. Tumas, Jokanovic, high ball, dug by Larson. Picked up Pisani, high ball out to Varga. Varga off the block, dug by Tumas. Kiriakou bump sets left pin. Jokanovic, soft tip, recycle. Tumas outside. Jokanovic wipes it off the block again. And no Eaters covering at the net, and it falls on the Eater side. Point going to Long Beach State. Jokanovic just trying to make a play on the sets he's getting, but he's going up against 3 blockers every time. Bloom back to serve, 20, serving to 23 here in set number 3. Bloom winds up, cross court, picked up by Kiriakou. Tumas to Darcy out of the right side, and he splits the seam of Varga and Braun. And for the first time tonight, Anteater fans on their feet for their first set point, bringing Micah Goss to the service line for the Anteaters. Goss has really picked it up since the second set. Defensively, 4 digs, but to service line, he's created so much trouble at. Only got an ace, but don't let that number fool you. He is keeping Long Beach out of system, like on that play. Larson, Pisani, high ball to Varga. Varga through the block, dug up and over by Goss, picked up by Gayak. Pisani looks, shoots outside to Varga, goes off of Tumas, back out to Varga again, rolls it high line, dug by Darcy. Tumas on 2, picked up by Braun, set by Peluso, picked up by Jokanovic, and we have a double called on the ball over, which is the right out block, 14.5 to 1. Kiriakou starts off with serve. Ball's pass high. Pisani sets middle, and looked like Chris got it by the block of Goss, but Goss lining up. Chris winning out on that ball again. 1-0. Jake Pisani at the service line for Long Beach State. Pisani, 30 assists, 5 block assists. Tumas out to Jokanovic. Jokanovic dug and saved by Larson. Roll shot by Varga, misses out of play. Point going to UC Irvine. The ball was set pretty far off net for Varga. He tried to turn around and just look for high hands or put a lot of topspin on that ball, but ended up going over 10 feet long. Goss to serve for UCI, 1-1. And he bangs it off a Bloom. Larson saves it. Free ball by Varga. Kiriakou on the hand pass. Tumas on 2, and he delivers coffin corner. Point going to UCI, 2 serving 1. Excellent play by Tumas. Everyone was camping on their attackers on the Long Beach side. Tumas said, I can take it myself. Good ball set up by Kiriakou. Perfect dig by Kiriakou to get that ball right on top of the net for Tumas to deliver with his lefty. Irvine up 2-1 here in set number 4. Great serve again. Varga passes out of system play. Pisani gets underneath it, tipped over the block. Dug by Kiriakou. Tumas out to Jokanovic. Jokanovic through the block. Pisani on the dig. Stepping in is Bloom, and triple trouble at the net by Clark, Jokanovic, and Tumas. And we've got some chatting going across the net as it's getting a little chippy here in the Bren. 3-1. It was the 2 Euro boys going at it between Gajek and Jokanovic. No one really understood, so no one cared, I think, is what's going on. But they've got some kind of mano-a-mano battle going on at that side. Serve goes long, 2 serving to 3. And that brings Varga to serve for Long Beach State. Varga, 8 kills, hitting 192. Spin serve picked up by Aitken. Tumas back over to Darcy, going reverse flow. Varga, Pisani, Bloom tips it off the block, and Darcy unable to get to the ball, and we're tied at 3s. Great sight and vision by Bloom, changing it up. He's had the hot hand on both of these nights. He's got 12 kills now, hitting .429. 2 aces and 5 digs, as well as a block assist. Waiting for the whistle from R1, Chris Hahn. 3-3. Spin serve by Aitken. Tumas, back dump. Oh, and a little magic courtesy of Micah Tumas and his bag of magic tricks. 4-3 UCI. Smooth play by Micah Tumas. But you need to get a shot like that to put anything away out of the reach of Kellen Larson, who has been the human janitor cleaning up on defense. Tumas back to serve for Irvine. Spencer overpass. Aitken free ball. Tumas, Clark. Clark rips it down. Point going to UCI, 5-3. Great execution and set selection by the redshirt freshman setter, Micah Tumas. Tumas now back to the service line for Irvine. Southpaw swinging over towards Larson. Pisani back to Gajek. Roll shot, Aitken. Made the right read, but unable to get the left scoop underneath it. 4 looking at 5. Christ going back to serve for Long Beach State. Christ, 40 aces on the season, averaging .45 aces per set. Just on that replay, Shane Aitken making the effort. Jokanovic, back to Jokanovic on the give and go. Tipped over the block, dug up and over by Chris, pick up by Tumas. Aitken sets right side. And which is it, ball in the antenna or block in the antenna? Looks like Chris with a fairly difficult serve and make that an ace off of Aitken. That's his first ace. Element of excitement, energy, and desire to win. Jokanovic to Tumas. Clark blasts high in the middle over the top of Bloom because he went up with Braun and Clark ended up turning it over the blocking side of Bloom. Scores tied at 6s. Jokanovic serving. Jokanovic to Gajek. Pisani. Ball's dug by Aitken. Kiriakou cross court, dug by Varga. Pisani gets underneath it. Bloom cross court off the block, dug by Jokanovic. Tumas outside to Kiriakou, rolls it off the block, digs his own ball. And they're going to call a quick challenge because they called 4 contacts on the Irvine side. Coach David Niffen right there challenging that there was a block touch. Original call, no touch at the net by the block as we watched the quick replay. There's that dig. Kiriakou winding up the outside. It's the next play that we're looking for. Watch Kiriakou. Jokanovic on that dig, fired out by Tumas. Oh, it goes off of his elbows. I expect it'll be overturned, but they may see a different angle than we have there. I wonder if that courtside cam on the net will have it, because there's a camera right there at the pin on the side. It looks like it's a quick review by Brian Brokenbow. I'm going to guess that it's a replay as he's visiting each station. So there is a replay, touch called on the block. So we're doing 6-6, redo. So Coach David Niffen has all of his challenges still remaining. Long Beach State down to 2. As Jokanovic steps back to the service line for UC Irvine. Jokanovic spins it cross court. Gajek, perfect pass. Pisani back to Gajek. Gajek cross court off the foot, but I think it bounces. I believe it did. They call it down. Point Beach, 7-6. Gajek getting near his waist, what it looks like on that view above the net, as Wojciech goes back to serve, or Gajek goes back to serve. Goes towards Jokanovic. Tumas back over to Darcy. Darcy over the block, dug by Varga. Pisani, left side, Bloom. Hard angle, off the block and out of play. Long distance tool by Bloom off the block of Clark and Darcy. 8 serving 6. Seeing a little more fight here out of the Anteaters here in set number 4. Obviously, they are trying to force a 5th set tiebreak. Gajek off the cable. Aitken. Tumas to Kiriakou. Kiriakou winds up, swings high and hard off the block of Pisani and Braun. 7 looking at 8. Packing a cannon on his shoulder is Kiriakou. He may be one of the smaller players on the court, but he has got a power pack of a swing. Representing Canada's volleyball U19 team on the beach. Bick to Varga. Varga and Jokanovic tried the kick save. He must have been falling back thinking that the ball was going to be hit deeper. Varga coming in and looked like Tumas had a chance as well, but it ends up being 9-7 after that put away, which brings Bloom to the service line. Varga, that's 9 kills. Who's hitting 222. Bloom. And make that an ace for Bloom. That's his 3rd of the night, 8th on the season for the senior outside hitter. Putting on a show for the hometown crowd here, right out of Huntington Beach. 10 serving 7. Bloom, again, passed off the net. High up continuing serve after tough serves and a scoring run, now up 11-7. Bloom to Kiriakou. Tumas on the big 2. Jokanovic dug by Larson. Varga over the block, dug by Aitken, picked up by Goss. Free ball by Jokanovic. Larson steps underneath. Back row attack, dug up and over by Tumas on the attack by Bloom, saved by Pisani. Varga swings high and hard, dug by Aitken. Jokanovic right there. Kiriakou winds up cross-court cutting, dug by Larson. Pisani back over to Gajek. Gajek hits it on the way down, but we have an Anteater net violation. Point going to Long Beach State. Long Beach State now on a 4-point run. Gajek, you see him fading away and falling back in that attack. Aitken unable to get underneath it, but there's a net violation between Goss and Kiriakou. Bloom back to serve for Long Beach State, and he goes into the net. 8 serving 12. William Darcy at the service line for UC Irvine. Darcy floats it over towards Bloom. Pisani back to Gajek. Gajek denied by Goss and Kiriakou. That does not happen too often with the way Gajek has been playing as of late. 9 looking at 12 Goss getting all of that, but placing that block effectively was Andon Kiriakou. Darcy, soft hybrid off the cable. Pizzanti outside of Varga, dug by Goss. Aitken, low set. Kiriakou blasted off of Larson, picked up by Bloom. A lot of spin on the ball. And the ball set over for point, and Varga pops it short. Smart play by the senior outside. That was a free ball, but great placement as the Anteaters caught on their heels on defense. 13 serving 9. Deep float to Kiriakou. Tumas to Kiriakou. Sneaks it by the block, recovered by Pisani. Varga swings. He's denied up top by Goss and Tumas. 10 serving at 13. Kiriakou going back to the service line as the monster block choreography in the house. The broken play buster by OMG or Micah Goss. Bloom, Pisani, Chris bounces it off the end line. 14 serving to 10. Jake Pisani at the service line for the Beach. Pisani, 38 assists. He's got 5 block assists and 7 digs, having an excellent defensive night. Kiriakou passes a dime. And Goss with a windup and the swing in the middle. Looked like a little float pattern as he came in from the right side to blast that ball. A little cutback action. 11 serving to 14. Micah Goss at the service line for UCI. Goss low toss, down the line, pass by Gayak. Back set to Varga. Varga over the block, dug by Darcy. Kiriakou looks, shoots it out to Jokanovic. Jokanovic rolls it off the block, dug by Bloom. Pisani high ball to Gayak. Gayak off the block. Replayed by Larson. Pisani back over to Varga. Varga tips, and he tips into the net. Point going to UCI. 12 looking at 14. What an effort by UC Irvine on defense. Pisani choosing to keep with Varga on that play, and he's trying to mix it up. You get what he's doing, but Irvine has finally begun to dig more and more balls. Long Beach State still out digging them 45 to 36. Goss into the net this time. Point going to Long Beach State. 15 serving 12. And that brings Varga back to the service line for Long Beach State. Varga, 44 aces on the season, with 3 of them being tonight, averaging .48 aces per set here in 2026. Over towards Aitken. Tumas back to Darcy. Darcy off the block. Saved by Varga. Larson hand sets it. Bloom tips over the block, and he somehow puts it away with a soft, delicate touch. Point going to Long Beach State. 16 serving to 12. Smart play by Connor Bloom for Bloom. Kill number 14, still hitting above 400 at 458. Varga about to deliver on the spin. Goes cross court to Aitken. Another good pass. Tumas in the middle to Clark. Dug by Larson off the block. Pisani shoots it over to Chris, and he snaps it down on the tip. 17-12. Chris really using the noggin tonight offensively. Chris, 7 kills, 0 errors on 10 swings. He's hitting 700 on the night. Andreas Brink checks in for William Darcy for serving and defensive purposes. It's the first time I've seen this substitution by Coach David Niffen. Varga and make that another ace for Varga. His 4th of the night, 45th of the season. Varga's got the hot hand from the service stripe tonight. Long Beach State service-wise, they have 11 aces in 4 sets of play. Varga steps in. Aitken to Tumas. See Jokanovic. Jokanovic tips it through the block. I have a center line violation against UCI. 18-12. It was a low trap set. Jokanovic did what he could to get to it. I didn't see the center line myself, but it was a quick call by Brian Brokenbow, our R2. Let's see. Does any part of his body clear the line? Right there. That right foot of Jokanovic. Aitken, Tumas to Clark, who's blocked, covered by Brink. Tumas, Jokanovic tips, tries to wipe, covered by Gajek. Bumps at Tumas, swinging high and hard, and dropping his left hand into the angle was Chris, and he gets the stuff block. Irvine goes up 20-12. Chris having I'm sure he probably has some better numbers, but it is a fantastic, it was a Kong block. His one arm up into the angle. Picked up by Aitken, ball stuffed up top by Chris, saved by Aitken, tipped by Clark, covered by Larson. Pisani, big to Varga, dug by Kiriakou. Aitken looks outside Jokanovic. Jokanovic blocked, covered by Kiriakou. Tumas to Jokanovic, dug by Varga, saved by Larson, goes joust up top, saved by Jokanovic. Tumas, center by Brink, picked up by Gajek. Pisani in the middle, Chris dug, saved by Clark. Up and over by Aitken, picked up by Larson. Pisani in the middle of Chris, and access denied by Trevor Clark. 13 serving to 20. What a fantastic rally on both sides of the net. Every team gritting, grinding, and gustoing it out here on the court. And we've got, I thought there's some discussion courtside between Shane Aitken and the R2, Brian Brokenbow. I believe he's asking who their server is. But in the high excitement of that last rally, I can't remember who served the last ball. So they're trying to make sure that the rotation is correct. I don't see any eaters back at the service line. Micah Tumas back to serve for Irvine. We've sorted it out. Irvine down by 7 here as Long Beach State about to fall into the cusp of the red zone. Tumas, Larson, Pisani, Gajek over the block, dug by Tumas. Brink off speed through the block. Pancake saved by Larson, and Bloom on the put away. Larson with the flipper, but we're going to have an immediate challenge. They're going to call the floor touch or the ball in on that ball by Larson, the libero of Long Beach State. Original call was that it was up. So hopefully we got that footage. It was a great effort by Larson, but did any part of the ball touch the floor on that dig by Kellen Larson? That's Brian Brokenbow looking at the challenge, a formal challenge by UCI's David Niffen. I'm hoping we can see that ball. Larson is a fantastic libero and has been getting so many clutch digs and scoops. I thought I saw part of the ball hit the floor, but I've got bad eyes, especially at this distance. And with all the lights on here, just scrolling through with his finger with a touch. I guess we're able to see the footage on that ball. Here we go. Oh, we got our top view, but it's not a replay view. That's a live view of what's going on. Again, Brian Brokenbow, the official challenge. Here we go. That's Larson. Oh, looks good. Looks like he got underneath it. That was a fantastic dig by Larson. Got to give props where props are due. We'll see, but the thing is, I've said certain calls and got them wrong, so I'm just going to hold. I'm going to say I'm 51% sure that that is the call. He's going through the footage, which at least that view that we have looks conclusive. But he may have a different view that sees part of the ball touching the floor. So I will put that out there so I don't have hate mail coming my way. So I don't know if we have any other views that would be worthy of looking at. We have an end-line view, which I don't think is too far away to get it. It looks like he may have his, oh, here we go. Yeah, I think he got underneath it. Play stands as called. I am 1 for 1,000. Not too bad. 21 served to 13. Jackson Chris going back to the service line for Long Beach State. Looking to close it out here in 4 unless the Eaters can make a super run here. Chris to Jokanovic. Tumas to Clark, and Clark lets her rip. 14 looking at 21. Trevor Clark, the transfer from San Diego Mesa Community College. The 6'10 middle blocker from Lake Elsinore as Jokanovic goes to serve. Drills it off of Bloom, really high pass, a lot of backspin. Pisani, free ball up and over by Larson. Aitken, Tumas, big to Jokanovic, and Jokanovic blasted out of the back row. 15 looking at 21, got a timeout taken by head coach Nick McRae of Long Beach State. As they are hanging tight here. Again, this is Nick's first year at the helm, but he's a long time face around the Long Beach State program. First as a player, as we watch the replay of Jokanovic coming down the pipe and going off of Larson, who is swinging to try and get a hand on it. Actually, Nick McRae was a player first at Long Beach State, then came on staff in 2012, and first year at the helm as head coach for Alan Knipe, who is a Orange County volleyball legend, played at Marina High School. And then Jokanovic serving for UC Irvine. Leads himself into the court, has to hit a hybrid. Varga, Pisani, and Braun with a knock up top. 22 serving to 15. Kiriakou checking back in for Beck Weber. Wojciech Gajek serving for Long Beach State. Gajek on the night, 12 kills, hitting .240. Serves that one into the net. 16 serving 22. Anteaters running out of time here in set number 4. Trevor Clark back to serve for UC Irvine. Clark floats it towards Larson. Pisani shoots it out. And we got a net violation, or ball set outside the antenna. Point Irvine, 17-22. Long Beach State trying to run a fast and furious offense off that ball. Clark, hybrid deep this time, and it floats long, 23 serving 17. That brings Connor Bloom to serve for Long Beach State. Bloom having a wonderful night. 15 kills, hitting .462. Jokanovic, Tumas to Goss, and out of play. Goss ripping it off the block. 18 serving at 23. Gonna have a substitution for Long Beach State checking in. Dane Hillis in for Connor Bloom for defensive purposes. And Andreas Brink serving for UC Irvine. He's going to try and do the quick serve off the whistle, but Chris Hahn didn't blow the whistle. Pass by Hillis. Off speed shot. Chicken wing dig by Aitken. Tumas wipes it off the block for a point going to UC Irvine. 19 looking at 23. Tumas, that was just a volley IQ play, but that dig by Aitken and that wipe off of Varga. Brink, deep float over towards Larson, tight, but Pisani jams it with 2, and we've got our first match point for Long Beach State, serving a 19. And Ben Braun to do the honors for Long Beach State. Braun goes float over towards Kiriakou. Tumas to Goss. Goss busting high. 20 served to match point number 2. Kiriakou to serve for UC Irvine. Kiriakou winds up towards Hillis, set outside of Varga. Varga off the block, dug by Aitken. Kiriakou steps underneath. Jokanovic, high swing, covered by Aitken off the block. Set to Jokanovic. Jokanovic off the block again. Kiriakou on the cover. Tumas covered by Larson on the dump. Pisani back to Gayak, and he hits it long. Point going to UC Irvine. 21 served to match point number 3. And Aitken is down with an injury on the end line. I'm not quite sure what happened, but the trainer is tending to his knee. And Coach David Niffen went out there quickly as soon as it happened. I don't know if it happened on the back step or on the fall. But Aitken is back up, and it's coming up a little wobbly. The trainer's checking in on him, just making sure he's okay. Looks like he's good to go. But getting some clutch digs in that last rally. Irvine now within 3. And Coach Niffen still on the court. You know, he's a warrior, and he's avoiding having to talk to Coach because he wants to stay in. But you can see Aitken saying, I got this, I'm good. It's not like I'm playing middle. I don't have to jump, Coach. And looks like Kiriakou is going to have another opportunity at the service line. 21 serving to match point number 3. Kiriakou winds up, floats down the line. Varga. Pizzanti. Ball's knocked off the block by Chris, picked up by Hillis, set back out to Varga. Varga off the block, dug by Aitken. Tumas over to Jokanovic, and he tools the outside block. Irvine within 2. 22 serving to match point number 4. As we look at our replay here, Jokanovic looking for hands up high and delivers, and that forces a Long Beach State timeout. Irvine down by as many as 7. That pulled back within 2. As we track some other action in the Big West, UC Santa Barbara and UC San Diego tied. 1 set apiece. Third set, Santa Barbara up 11-10. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out brawl in San Diego tonight. These teams are so evenly balanced, as are all the teams in the Big West. They all can shake things up on any given night, and that's why a Big West tournament is not a guarantee for any team. Sleep on one, they could take you out. We've seen that happen. But an interesting stat I heard on the Hawaii broadcast, my brothers on screen and on the radio waves, or through the bandwidth, They said it's always been a 1 or 2 seed that's won the Big West Championship since its inception. I didn't fact check that, but I'm pretty sure someone will let me know if that isn't the case. 22 serving to match point number 4. Andon Kiriakou serving for UC Irvine. Kiriakou on the windup. Hits a soft float, pass by Hillis off the net. Pisani out to Varga, and that goes long. 23 serving to match point number 5. And we've got a substitution. Connor Bloom checking back in for Dane Hillis. Irvine battling back in, and now the shoe tie. I thought we were going to get the shoe tie pause. We saw that against Hawaii. Fun moment here in the Bren. Kiriakou floats deep to Larson. Pisani in the middle, and finally Jackson Chris with a put away for a point, set, and match as the Long Beach State Beach close out the season.
Drums and click cover. Yeah.
Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại. Có bằng lái mà vẫn muốn chạy ô tô để kiếm tiền, nhưng vấn đề lớn nhất là chi phí học bằng lái quá cao. Hiện Green đã có chính sách cực kỳ hấp dẫn cho các bác tài xế mới, hỗ trợ giá chuyển học bằng lái, áp dụng cho chương trình thuê sử dụng video vừa có bằng lái, vừa có
để bác tính không bị đói.
Lái mà vẫn muốn chạy ô tô để kiếm tiền, nhưng vấn đề lớn nhất là chi phí học bằng lái quá cao. Hiện Green đã có chính sách cực kỳ hấp dẫn cho các bác tài xế mới, hỗ trợ giá chuyển học bằng lái, áp dụng cho chương trình thuê.
Tôi đã chi bao nhiêu tiền cho bộ ảnh miêu tộc. Đầu tiên đó là bộ đồ đi. Đám cưới gì?
Tôi là Phú Quý, tôi thích được squat mỗi ngày 1 phút. Tôi là Thần, tôi thích được nhón chân mỗi ngày 1 phút.
¿Está lavando la sandía? ¿Qué va a hacer? ¿Va a hacer agüita de sandía? Uy, al parecer es una agüita de sandía. Es una agüita de sandía, pero natural, natural. Uy. Ah, bueno, inteligente, A ver. ¿La está deshaciendo bien? Uy, pero ese concentrado es...
Nói với bố của em có bồ rồi.
Canada came in as a Big Ten plus. Oh, walking in the P, another All-American, outside hitter number 1, Dylan Klein, a 3-time All-American, 6'6" senior on a Pacific Palisades. He ranks number 2 in the nation in...
Bao nhiêu em ấy? Bao nhiêu em ấy? Ngày với ai? Bự dữ quá. Bận người bên. Ơi. Alo, mẹ bạn hả? Đâm mẹ mình đọc tin nhắn bạn nó đóng đồ giùm bạn chứ nhớ. Ok. Nó.
Serving first, coming in 10-3 as a Big Ten plus. Conference matches, so 3-0 in the NCSF, and immediately Hawaii out of system. Kainoa Wade hits it into the Klein, and Pepperdine strikes first. That is most definitely one of the key elements. Is serving tough from the line. The Hawaiian Financial FC starting lineup scrolling to the bottom of your screen. Justin Cobb inserted back in as one of the starting middles here of this evening. Looking at Ryan Barnett, who's the 6'5" redshirt senior from
con gì đấy? Bữa nay tôi hỏi thịt mấy hôm nay. Có thấy con gà nào mà ốm cỡ này chứ? Nay tôi
sẽ tạo ra chất lưu huỳnh và một số hóa chất độc hại gây ô nhiễm nguồn nước, ảnh hưởng đến môi trường sinh thái của các loài thủy hải sản. Vậy mà hầu hết các hộ nuôi hào ở Long Sơn, thành phố Vũng Tàu và những hộ nuôi hào dọc theo sông Nhà Bà, sông Rạng, sông Chanh thuộc thành phố Vũng Tàu, huyện Tân Thành đều không biết hoặc không quan tâm mối nguy hại từ việc sử dụng các tấm pyroximang cây. Mẹ gặp củ ảnh to như này thì bao nhiêu tiền đúng không? Bên Thành không có giới hạn tính năng. Và những anh chị nào anh chị này bạn cho anh đi. Bây giờ anh có cái gì? Anh thì nghèo. Anh lấy cái này để nuôi em. Một viên này thì là 20, nhưng mà anh mua theo không lo cho nó rẻ nha. Hôm nay nha, cả combo 5 viên rẻ xô vừa như thế này này. Đấy, giá nhận về tay nha, không phải là 100 đâu, không phải là 90, mà cũng không phải là 80, 70 không phải nha.
Nhiều anh chị ở gần đây là thấy em bán nước giống mấy chị nói em bán gần anh quá thì xin đưa ra nhà nha.
Đừng sống sai với tao rồi thắc mắc tại sao tao không như lúc ban đầu. Mày nên nhớ, trước khi tao im lặng, trước khi tao không thèm quan tâm, tao đã từng tử tế với mày như thế nào. Tao đã từng quan tâm mày ra sao. Chỉ là cái gì cũng có giới hạn, tình cảm cũng vậy. Người ta không thay đổi vì tự nhiên muốn đâu, mà là vì họ đã phải chịu đựng quá nhiều. Đến một lúc, tao không còn muốn nói, không còn muốn giải thích, cũng không còn muốn cứu vãn. Mày tưởng tao vô tâm, nhưng thực ra tao chỉ đã quá mệt. Và một khi tao đã bước ra khỏi cái vòng luẩn quẩn đó, tao sẽ không quay lại nữa. Vì tao biết tao xứng đáng với một thứ tình cảm được trân trọng, chứ không phải bị coi thường như cách mày đã.
Nếu mà chồng tôi đi mần mệt về nuôi tôi, chồng nói tại sao mày ở nhà mà nghèo quá mà không cắt nhà cửa không chồng vậy thì mình mới nông mọn với chồng mình. Thì chồng mình sẽ nhẹ nhõm để trong lòng.
Thì đó.
Còn người ta đang mần mệt về người ta bực bội mà mình làm giọng má thì mình phải có sống với.
Ok, chị vậy ok.
Không có chồng không giờ chồng.
Em đang thử coi thử là chị ứng xử như thế nào đó.
Ví dụ chồng tôi đi mần mệt về chồng tôi nạt nộ rồi tôi cũng nói với chồng tôi đèn quà bây giờ tôi cắt nè, mình nói ngọt với chồng mình sao chồng mình giận được. Tôi vụ đó điểm đó là bé gôn, tôi lấy chồng là bé gôn. Nếu mà chồng tôi đi mần mệt về nuôi tôi, chồng nói tại sao mày ở nhà mà đèn đuốc mà không cắt nhà cửa không chồng vậy thì mình phải nói ngọt với chồng mình. Thì chồng mình sẽ nhẹ nhõm được trong lòng.
Thì đó.
Còn người ta đang mần mệt về ta bực bội mà mình làm giọng má thì phải có sống với. Có năng chiều cao.
Đội anh thiếu 10 ông anh cho em xin dân lưu tí được không? Em về không về. Thì em cảm ơn anh nhé. Đội anh thiếu 10 ông cho em xin dân lưu tí được không? Em đang làm cái thử thách trải nghiệm trong rồi đó anh nhá. Được luôn anh. Ok. May quá anh ơi. Đây, chị thay đồ. Cảm ơn. Em kiểm sẽ không đeo đỏ anh nhé. Anh ấy chưa? Anh đâu?
3-0 in the NCAA.
Ôi dồi ôi, con gì đấy? Con gà. Ủa sao nó xích cậu hết trơn, nó toàn là xương không vậy? Gà núi. Gà núi. Ôi, tôi nói gà núi đẹp lắm mà sao nuôi gà cái gì? Gà nhiều xương nhất thế. Gà này gầy nhất thế giới luôn á. Gầy nhất hả? Ôi sao ông nó nghĩ gì không? Ông cũng cho nó ăn cái gì đó lắm. Mới thay người sao? Đây là sao mình nói vậy á? Thế là không có tiền mua thức ăn cho nó. Ông để cho em cái này.
Hai em. Đấy, thấy chưa? Xin mời em.
Luồng dựa trên kiến thức của oxy chất lỏng trong thực tế từ sản phẩm được ứng dụng vào sửa chữa ô tô, năng họa trong xây dựng và bóc xếp hàng. Luồng dựa trên kiến thức của oxy chất lỏng trong thực tế từ sản phẩm được ứng dụng vào sửa chữa.
Dơ lồng nha. Nhá. Đền. Ui rồi. Các bác và các bạn nhá. Ăn cá nhảy nhá. Đẳng cấp mọi người ạ. Con này hơi cứng nên là không thể nào mà nhanh được mọi người nhá. Đấy, nhưng mà ăn được thì nó dơ lồng nha.
Trò chơi đoán từ quê sáng sao khi dùng miệng tạo cảm giác cho người lạ giữa đám đông gọi là thói quen tập thể. Thuyết trình khi dùng miệng để giúp người khác hiểu rõ vấn đề thì gọi là thói quen. Thuyết phục hành động cúi người dùng miệng vận công vào nơi tăm tối để thắp sáng gọi là thói quen. Thổi lửa con mẹ này thổi kèn hoài vậy. Làm cò tem thì phải thổi kèn to. Anh nói vậy thì Huệ sẽ không nghĩ cái kèn nữa. Khi dùng miệng để tạo độ phồng cho vật thể thì gọi là thổi bong bóng. Thổi kèn. Trời má, cái kèn nào phồng to bà nói. Bây giờ tôi đố bạn kèn gì mà mình của nó phồng to. Kèn da. Trời ơi sai bét, đó chính là kèn phu. Kèn phu là trò chơi
Mới mua cái cửa hàng tạp hóa này để nó một bất ngờ cực lớn cho mọi người đây. Hey, Mr. Beast kìa. Chào mọi người nha. Hey, Mr. Beast thôi kìa. Mọi người chú ý. Giờ mọi người đang xuất hiện trong video của Mr. Beast. Ai là người cuối cùng rời khỏi cửa hàng đây? Sẽ tặng 250.000 đô la. Hãy đập kia. Ở đây hết. Phải bạn tôi. Thế là mọi người sẽ đem cuộc sống thôi. Tôi chắc chắn là sẽ bắt chước lắm. Vì nó chỉ hỏi nè. Vì là trong video hôm nay chúng ta sẽ cùng thể một sức mạnh điều hòa tại
Ôi giời. Gọi định gì?
Em nói hai anh rồi, đi ra đường nó mấy em bị đầy đủ mấy cái này chứ đời hai đỡ là chuyện rồi sao?
Thật ra là anh cố gắng, nhưng mà anh thích tháo ra rồi để anh đánh lại tại biết không? Nếu anh gắn với nó nhiều hơn.
Hoặc là Mai mốt xem đi làm có nam lên, tụi để ở đây cứ xem hoài à.
Ra đường làm nhiệm vụ nguy hiểm lắm, chứ ở nhà thời gian đi càng toàn, còn nhiệm vụ á để dinh thái lôi lộn. Đúng rồi, em đẹp vậy, em ra em cài chết nó mới quý, anh cài nắng rồi. Không mà kỳ vậy ta, anh thấy bên này có taxi ẩn danh, nghe ok quá ha, đỡ nắng ha. Đúng. Mình làm ẩn danh, mình làm xe ôm vậy ta. Có hai lý do. Lý do thứ nhất là anh mới cái nhà. Cái đó hợp lý. Lý do thứ hai là đường Việt Nam hẻm nhiều lắm, ví dụ mình dí tội phạm vô hẻm rồi taxi dí đi. Hợp lý. Mới đầu thôi là đủ thấy hợp lý. Vậy đó. Ủa mà lo mà tại mấy cướp tiệm vàng như vậy nó đâu rồi. Rồi vô mình mắc thần nè.
Không mời cũng bị chửi.
Rồi
Thôi chắc anh xin phép rồi.
Thấy ra đang di chuyển đường kho hàng nè, chắc là kiếm cái nhà quan nào trốn trong đó, rồi xong rồi đợi tình hình đi mắn trốn ở Campuchia. Bây giờ Vinh với Thái đi ra khu vực đường kho hàng á, quan sát đi, khi nào mà thấy tụi nó báo cho Nam ra xử lý.
Đưa đường nước lên cả nhà.
Đúng vậy. Đó, thêm nhân vật là nghề của tôi mà. Nhưng mà Vinh à, hai bộ đồ khác làm nhiệm vụ đi, mặc bộ đồ đó là thế. Đây tụi này đó, đây biết gì vậy không? Phải không? Thằng này nó tâm bật
Đây cả nhà. 10 đồng mua.
Được, mình chưa phát hiện. Được không? Mình đợi tiếp. Over. Có tin nhắn. Bóc. Còn 4.500 tiền điện thoại. Over. Nói bên này nghe nói. Phải bóc thả là mới nghe được. Mình nhắn rồi. Hai mày đậu đây kia hả? Trời ơi, tôi chưa ôm. Thấy ôm hả? Đúng rồi. Tại lâu chưa? Mới nay à? Tại vì cái bãi này là bãi của tao đậu cuối rồi. Nên là anh em thông cảm thì chuyên nào sống nha. Rồi anh khách qua anh đi đi. Tôi đậu chậm với trời. Dạ vâng. Chắc cỡ tầm đậu ở ngày nó không tiếng à. Tiếng là đi à. Tiếng là tại vì nắng rồi kia đó. Này tôi nói trước nha, chỗ này á là kiểu như là khách quen, khách nối chắc không? Khách nối chắc không à. Không có khách dẫn ai cho nên là đừng có gì tiếng nói. Nó không kiếm khách mà sao tụi anh dùng khách của tao nghĩ vậy? Nói ý là tôi kiếm khách của tôi. Anh có khách nối anh, tôi có khách nối tôi có 2-3 người mà có nó đi, còn không phải 2-3 người đó tôi cũng muốn đi. Ủa, nhưng mà nhớ nghe thì chứ đi mấy người kìa? 3 người, đi đâu?
đâu?
Đi các chạy một.
Chạy một hả? Người đó không? Hai người ra.
Chút nữa.
Đi bạn đây nè. Đi nghe nè. Chở đi mày chở đi chịu khó đợi nha, nó đi rồi xong nó quay về nó rước hai người sao?
Chạy ảnh đi chạy.
Nó bắt đi ba xe đi để nó bắt đi luôn chứ đâu mà chứ chở gì nữa. Xe bây giờ đang không có chạy được. Xe hết xăng rồi. Xe tôi đứt thắng rồi.
Rồi tôi quay xe hết xăng cho đứt thắng rồi chạy xe không chứ.
Tháng vui quá giỡn chắc thắng nó buồn quá. Xăng luôn, xăng này đứng ở trên nó mét thôi à. Tưởng đứng này đợi tới trong sao nó lợi đợi là mình lên 400 người ăn cả luôn.
Thôi ảnh giữ trời, thôi đang hỏi tiếp cho các nhà.
Rồi hàng đó nắm tay cũng đã. Nãy giờ tôi quay có chạy chưa không? Thiệt không? Thiệt. Trong đầu tiên trong đầu tôi thấy chạy chưa không một thằng gì. Có thằng thằng lúc thắng là tôi chơi khách bỏ đi luôn. Tôi bỏ tôi chơi nhưng mà ông này khách mình tôi chơi ông này chơi khách. Mình thử vậy. Cái tội thấy khách rồi nha. Rồi, bạn hết ăn rồi mà chạy gì? Đi chở khách thì chở khách. Ơi sao anh? Nãy rồi khách tới tụi bay chở gì rồi, tụi bay chở khách rồi chở gì? Quen mới chạy. Ủa khách tụi nó chạy xe về mà nó lấy xe chở khách là sao ta? Mấy anh này hình sự chắc luôn. Đi còn bắt cướp. Nè, con lẹ đi qua cam, nếu trên đường không có ghé chỗ mua đâu. Đúng rồi, tôi nói rồi đó.
Cái tụi cướp chuyện vàng
Gửi định vị trong Nam chưa?
gọi định vị không biết chừng nào tới đây.
Hai người thử bắt được cướp chưa?
Thời thế tạo anh hùng,
Đã tới lúc phải chứng minh cho tôi biết ai mới là người. Có tốt. Quỷ rồi. Giờ sao? Đúng lắm. Nhớ.
Bà Toàn đây vừa nhận được kệ con là bà Toàn, nhà đây bà thấy Toàn mình bình thường là hơi ghê.
thì tao nói thôi, sự nào mày cố chấp nhiều đó. Má nó vẫn đứng ngầu luôn kìa. Anh nào mày chịu anh nổi. Mày có sao không? Có cái tay đau quá tự nhiên. Má mày làm màu mày vô đánh đi tao cãi đi à.
Tên nam mà ngộ chết mày.
Đâu là cái gì đó. Xỉu tới tao ký đầu mày nữa giờ. Tụi mày đi nói không? Rồi giúp vậy rồi. Còn mấy anh này sao? Gọi báo công an đi. Không, anh đâu phải công an hả? Tao nói không mà ký đầu bây giờ. Đâu có mang với anh đâu phải không? Yeah. Làm vậy ve.
Sao dữ vậy? Thôi
Đau lắm em ơi.
thôi anh Nam.
Anh
Nam ơi, ai vậy? Ai làm anh sao mà tay tôi vậy? Anh có đau không?
Nói nghe nè,
anh ơi,
nói nghe nè, nó chỉ dính bụi thôi, đây là dính máu.
ai cho anh đánh hoài chưa quen hay gì?
Ủa lại bây giờ đánh mà phải quen nữa hả? Còn hơn kia không bị đánh là không quen hay sao?
Quan trọng là nhiệm vụ hoàn thành chưa?
Bằng canh thường nhiệm vụ hoàn thành.
Gì được rồi.
Nhiệm vụ hoàn thành mà tới trễ gì à? Đi chở khách. Cha mày bỏ khách rồi đi cứu tụi tao không được cái gì á? Cái vấn đề đó, chở khách ở đâu cũng biết. Tới đến nơi rồi còn đứng đó múa làm màu chơi. Ủa làm ngầu ngầu chứ biết đi. Phải khởi động chứ. Động làm gì? Không bị dập bẻ sao? Trời ơi, mất nguyên tắc giùm đau được ông Nam.
Trời ơi, đau lắm anh nè, coi chảy hết trơn, còn gì là người ta nữa.
Ủa nơi ví dụ bây giờ em quay qua em hỏi anh có sao không được luôn hả? Thiệt luôn nơi em vô thăm với anh thực sự.
Hai anh
nhưng mà
quen
cỡ nào cỡ, anh không thể nào vô tâm với em được.
Cái gì vậy?
Đặng.
Cái gì đây?
Nói là con một bằng thuốc đỏ đó, lấy chấm cho nó đi.
Ê.
Ủa? Vàng á.
Hả?
Đẹp không?
Đẹp quá vậy?
Cái công thức 3 triệu.
Anh nói tao đồ á.
Đau quá.
Ôi, đẹp quá nè.
Nó vật chất với ta.
Trời, anh Thái này rồi sao mà anh máu me tùm lum vậy trời? Anh có sao không?
Anh cũng máu tùm lum hả? Anh đau. Nói anh cũng máu me tùm lum. Anh đau lắm. Anh nặng. Anh bị
Ai, anh còn đau chỗ nào không? Để tí nữa em chữa cho.
nó đá vô đây anh.
Còn dẻo hoài rồi.
Để nghe tin tức coi.
Đau không?
Các đối tượng cướp
Phiên bản để đạt được cấp thành phiên bản Pro. Một cốc cải tiến tặng thêm 8 lần Tourette, thêm 10% caffeine, tăng cường tỉnh táo, thêm 10% nâng sân cho bạn năng lượng, sẵn sàng bứt tốc. Tỉnh táo, bứt tốc.
What if you could make a song using only your voice? Let's start with the drums.